Hey y'all, I'm making this video to say be consistent, right? Be consistent in literally everything that you do. The only way that you will have real success at anything is if you are being consistent. Consistency is what's going to get you to where you need to be. It's really just like whatever that you coming up with, whether you plan on going to the gym or you plan on going freaking starting a business, starting a channel, whatever it is, the only way that you are going to see the results that you want to see is if you are consistent, right? So be consistent no matter what. We as people, sometimes a lot of people say what holds them back from being consistent is how they feel. But you know, we as people, like, we don't always feel the same way, but we always be wanting the same thing. Like, you always be wanting to eat right. You always be wanting your body to look how your body to look, right? So that means even when you don't feel like doing something, you still have to do it for yourself. You still got to show up for yourself regardless. Always show up for yourself regardless of how you may feel, because we don't always have good days every single day. You know, we might not always have whatever it is, but you got to show up and you got to be consistent for you. And don't do it for nobody else. You know, if it's easier to be consistent when it's something that you actually do want to do, when it's something that you do actually enjoy doing. You can do that all the time, right? So just be consistent in everything that you do and write it down on a piece of paper. The saying is, write it down, make it plain. And there is power in writing stuff down, whether you know it or not. There is so much power in writing things down. Write it down and make it plain. Whatever that you want out of life, whatever that you're trying to do, write it down and make it plain and be consistent in it, y'all. I mean, how many of us have written a goal down and said, hey, I'm going to do this, or hey, I'm going to do that by this time next week. And then when that day comes up, you didn't do it. So you just be like, dang, I wonder where I would have been now if I had been consistent, right? And understand the power of now. Time is an illusion, right? Time don't even exist. The only time that you have is right now. Everything else is an illusion, and it is poof. You know what I'm saying? The only time that you have is right now. So don't put too much work off on your future self. If you say you want to be consistent doing something, and if you say you want to show up for yourself every day doing something, then literally do that, because there's no other time. Telling yourself, oh, I'll do it later, is like never. You know the saying, now or never. Now or never, because tomorrow and later on and however many days away is not promised to nobody. But you know what we do have right now. So understand the power of now as well. That's going to help you be consistent too. That's going to really help you lock in a lot. Understand the power of right now. If you're not doing it right now, then you're not being consistent. So once you say, oh, I'll do it later on, that's just like telling yourself, nah, I'll do it never. You know what I'm saying? And another thing about consistency is just like building the best relationship with yourself. Consistency is like showing up for yourself every single day, regardless of what. Like going to the gym. If you said you was gonna go to the gym, it don't matter if you probably had a bad day at school or a bad day at work, but guess what? You still show up for yourself at that gym. You make yourself feel better by showing up for yourself. You know, sometimes people can have a hard time being consistent because they may not feel like doing it at the time. But I promise you, the feeling of not doing anything and the feeling of just wishing you had did something is way worse than doing what you need to do, than actually being consistent and then actually putting in the work. You know, so be consistent. You know, and once you're consistent with yourself, other people will see how consistent you are as well, and people respect you more, and you'll have more self-respect as well. Like I said, that's building That's just building your relationship with yourself. Like, once you just keep being so consistent, you just gonna be so proud of yourself. You gonna be like, dang, you gonna have better days. You know, it's like that long-term gratification that everybody yearns for and everybody wants, you know. So, you know, when people say fast short-term gratification, you know, like smoking, or I don't know if I can say that, or you know, whatever, that's boom. When you gonna feel them results? Within like a couple of minutes, right? You're literally going to feel those results within a couple of minutes. So then once you've made up your mind that I'm going to be consistent going to the gym, or going to this place or going to this place, once you have your mind made up that you're going to do that, the more that you do it, the more that you feel better every single day and day and day and day. So it's kind of like that feeling, but think about it in real life. Like in real life, every single day. Man, that is a feeling that you cannot shake. Like it helps build your confidence. It helps you like be happier and just like make you smile, because that's really what life is about. Life is about doing whatever you feel guided to do, right? And so that consistency is what's going to help you see those results. So just keep that in mind, you know, keep that in mind. And also share with other people around you, you know, get you an accountability partner, or whatever else that you may need. You might not even need that. You might just really need to take a time, sit down with yourself first, and then get somebody else, like probably like a gym partner or a partner, to talk about whatever that you're trying to talk about, whatever that you're trying to do, right? Be consistent and put it in your mind. Get it in your mind that I am consistent. I am consistent. I am consistent. And continue to tell yourself that. And you're going to see where you go. You're going to go way farther than where you are now. You know, and that's just like getting out of your head too. Consistency is like getting out of your head too. Because we can think, I wonder where would I be 30 days from now if I did this every day. Like, went to the gym every day. I wonder how my body will look I wonder how my body will look 30 days from now if I went to the gym every day. Guess what? Consistency is going to bring that out. It's getting up out of your head and showing you the real results. And that's what we need. Like, we need real results. Like, we need to stop doing like daydream, fairy tale, and unrealistic things in our mind, and not really doing those things in real life. So be consistent in those things in real life too. Like, make sure you're showing up for yourself, as well as, you know, people that may be around you too. Other people, they be needing help with being consistent too. So it's all about the consistency. Every time you see people where you want to be, they always tell you, just be consistent. Just be consistent. Just show up. You know, don't try to be perfect, and don't compare your journey to anybody else. People always say that. Always. And why? Because it's literally the blueprint to life. It's literally it's the way to get you to wherever you got to be. So be consistent. Be consistent in everything that you do. Be consistent, because that consistency is what's going to get you to where you need to be. Every time that consistency is what's going to get you to where you need to be. So ask yourself, why am I being consistent too? Like, who are you doing this for? That's another thing. You got to have a strong enough reason why. Like, if you don't have a strong enough reason why to do something, you're just not going to do it. You just not going to do it. If you don't feel like the reason is good enough, you're not going to do it. Period. So make sure that whatever you're being consistent in, or whatever you're trying to do, make sure that you continue to tell yourself why. And it's to build that relationship with yourself, to build that trust with yourself, right? Like, people that's consistent, they can't have relationships with people that's like lazy, they don't want to do nothing for real, and like barely want to do stuff. They can't even coexist together, because like those two just don't mix well. Like, it just would never work. And because like I said, consistency brings your self-esteem all the way up and just makes you like so freaking happy, right? So that consistency is a sign of your confidence. People that's confident in themselves, people that love themselves, they can't be around no people they got low self-esteem, don't know what to do, ain't got no plan, don't plan on having no plan. They will never be able to like coexist together, because like they just can't. They just cannot coexist together. And you got to be honest with yourself about what it is that you're doing, why you doing it, and have that strong reason why, and be consistent. Be consistent. Like, that consistency is what changes people's lives. If you really want to change your life, be consistent. And when it comes time to do whatever you're supposed to be doing and you feel like you might not want to do it, ask yourself, do you want to change your life or not? Do you want to see the results or not? Do you want to get to the end, or do you want to get to the end of this journey or not? You know, like, just ask yourself that. And once you ask yourself that, you'll be all right. You're gonna see, because you gotta show up regardless of how you feel, you know? Just like the freaking system, like school, work, them people don't care how you feel. You gotta show up consistently. That's one thing we can learn that from school. That's one thing. Elementary, middle school, high school, anything. It don't matter how you feel. It don't matter if you might not be in a good mood or whatever. You got to show up. You have to show up every single day. You have to be consistent in everything that you do every single day to see the results, to get to where you want to be. Ask yourself, where do I want to be? Do I want to be here not being consistent? Or do I want to be on the side of a town where everybody consistent, everybody, you know, putting in work and getting to it for real? Like, where do I want to be? Ask yourself that and put yourself in that predicament and put yourself in those shoes and just keep it like that. Because you're going to be so much more happier with yourself by being consistent, okay? You got this. You got this. Don't let nobody tell you you don't. You got this. It may be hard when you first starting off, but as you do something more and more, it just starts to become easier and easier, and you don't have to necessarily work too hard because it's second nature, right? Things start to become second nature after a while. So that's another thing about consistency. After a while, it may not even be consistency. It may just be a lifestyle. You know, that's what a lot of these things are. When people say being consistent and da-da-da stuff like this, people really be talking about lifestyle. Like, it's about a new lifestyle. So when you want to do whatever, sometimes you got to go into a freaking new reality, like a whole new everything for you to be consistent. Just like when you say you want to go to the gym and be consistent, you're not going to be the same person that you were when you was lazy, eating chips all the time. No, it's going to be an identity shift. It's going to be a life-changing mental thing as well, you know? So that's a lot of stuff. So like I said, ask yourself, where do you want to be, and go there. And don't go where you don't want to be. If you don't want to be there, don't go there. Only go where you want to be. And if you want to go to be consistent, you're going to meet people with high self-esteem, people that love themselves, and people that respect themselves, and people that's not going to play about them. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to see you guys in the next video. And thank you guys for watching. Be consistent in everything that you do. And if you put it in your head, you can get in your reality. Whatever you got in your, if you can see it, you can touch it. And if you can think it, you can achieve it.